Hi, I'm Lee at Iridium. I've got loads of the Iridiots with me tonight. I've got Dom. How you doing, Dom?
Doing good, folks.
We've got Jam here.
Good evening.
And Darren from Sleeve Saturday. Darren, you ain't been here for ages. Anyone who's missed his sultry Irish tone, he's here. I do. I love a sexy Irish voice, mate. So I'm glad you're here.
Oh, you stop that. Don't stop. No.
Yeah, so guys, thanks for turning up. So we got to talk about. I mean, I've done a couple of shows already on top albums and top singles, but or top tracks, sorry. So it'd be good because we got a lot of different opinions in music, haven't we, as well? Our taste, within that rock and metal genre, there's going to be some good choices here. So I thought I'd invite you guys on. You can talk about some of your picks you want to talk about. And I said there's no rules to this. This ain't our like favorite albums or anything. I actually want to talk about some of the lesser known bands, but really good albums. And I left it up to you guys what you want to speak about, but you can recommend to some of the people that might not have heard some of those. Some are going to be big albums, some ain't going to be so much. So we're going to go around the houses, and I'm going to do it as I see it on the screen. I'm going to go Dom first. So we're only going to have 3, 4 or 5 picks. That's all we're going to have. So Dom, you're first, mate. What you got to recommend us from 2021?
Okay, so I'm going to start. I could save it till last, but I'm just going to come out of the box. This is my favorite band of the last 10 years. Their last 3 records have been #1 on my year-end lists. I talk about forever. They have just reinvigorated my love of melodic hard rock. This is the Night Flight Orchestra from Sweden. If you don't know who they are, this is started out as a side project from the singer and guitar player from Soilwork and the bass player from Arch Enemy, both pretty heavy bands. But this is not that. This is pure 80s AOR. The songs they write are just amazing. I actually took the train from Glasgow to London just to see them on their very first UK show. That was a couple years ago. I can't say enough about them. You hear Toto in their music, Foreigner. There's a bit of Survivor. There's a bit of ABBA.
Cool.
I mean, I can't say enough about this band. As I said, they've just reinvigorated my love of melodic rock. Their 3rd album, this is their 6th album, called Aromatic 2, which is a sequel to last year's Aromatic. This is an improvement over that one, and that one was #1 for last year, so you can imagine that I'm pretty hyped on this one. But yeah, their 3rd album, Amber Galactic, was the first one I actually heard, and I hadn't been that excited about a record for years, and they've just continued to build up. I can't say enough about them. They're on Nuclear Blast. As I said, this is their 6th album. And they can do no wrong, really, in my eyes. So there you go. Night Flight Orchestra, Aromatic 2.
Wow.
I'm sold.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah, some of them bands. Yeah,
I think you would really dig it there. And yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure why Lee is really sleeping on this. Have you listened to them and you're not too fond?
I think they do. I've heard a few bits and pieces of theirs. And to tell you the truth, I probably would like it. I mean, I think what they do is what I've heard. I mean, it's a real mixture, like you said, and I suppose it's something you could either love it or hate it, but I probably would. Give me something different as well, because of all the bands. I keep going on about all the bands that are standing the same now, which there's a lot. It's starting to get a little bit like the 80s, isn't it? Where bands are starting to sound very similar to each other. So that is a band that probably would interest me. I'm definitely going to give it a go, mate. I don't know why I haven't really done that. But I think it's.
I would say they have lots of different influences, and even song by song, some are heavier than others. They're all melodic, but some are a bit riffier and stuff. But I would say probably as far as like to compare them to a band that do different things on an album, the closest thing is probably Toto. Where they have pure like kind of R&B almost sounding songs, or they can just work out as well. Just lots of varied things.
Brilliant choice, mate, for the first recommendation. Jam, let's move on to you, mate. What you got?
Okay, I'm going to go to an album. You didn't actually like it. It was
and it's a solo album from Miles Kennedy, obviously singer from Alter Bridge. The album is Ides of March. A bit different. It's his second solo album. It came out in May the 14th. And first one was sort of very acoustic-y Americana, which I sort of liked. It's not really my sort of music because it was Miles Kennedy. I gave it a go, and he was playing just up the road. So I thought I'll give it a listen and go and watch him live, which we did a couple of years ago. And the new one came out, and it was supposed to say it's a bit more rocking, but nothing like Alter Bridge, just rock if you like it, but not really quite the same sound as the first album. So I wasn't going to bother listening to it particularly because I didn't think he'd come back and do another tour over it necessarily or whatever. But listen to Planet Rock, as I've mentioned many times all day. They've played a lot of the songs, obviously, and they played the first one in stride, Get Along. And the more I heard, the more I liked it. And then the last single, I think they released 1,000 Words. Brilliant. I really love that song. So obviously I've got the album. He hasn't done a tour, and I went to see him last 2 weeks ago, I think, in Leeds. And he played like this stuff off the first album, and obviously a couple of Alter Bridge, a couple of Mayfield 4 songs, and a couple of cover versions. And yeah, really like it. Great album. Not normally my sort of thing at all, but obviously Miles Kennedy, brilliant singer. And yeah, I thoroughly recommend it if you like something a bit sort of rocky, not metally, but rocky and catchy. Then check it out. 1,000 Words is my favourite song on the album, but as I say, some really good stuff on there. So check it out.
I did get a bit of stick for not liking that off someone as well. No. Someone told me it's art. I don't know, fuck all. It's art. It's not. Sorry, I don't like art really. I don't like all of art either. I like some art and I don't like some. Simple as that. Yep. Like everything in it. But you've got to be careful these days. You've got to like everything. Anyway, I don't mind it. And I actually liked that first album, the acoustic one. I thought it was
I like that as well.
A bit darker. I think I like the dark tone to it. It's quite cool. What was you going to say, Dan?
I was going to say that set you're building for yourself is becoming a work of art, to be fair.
What's that?
that set you're building for yourself is becoming a work of art.
Vamp likes jumping on it. So that's just for a minute. It's his plaything. That's what it is.
I bought 2 of them on-air signs myself, inspired by your video, so I love them. Cool.
Yeah, good. They do look cool. Thank you very much. It's like a love fest in here, isn't it? We'd be swapping spit in the showers if there was one we could share. Anyway, thanks for that, Jam. Darren, what's your first pick, mate?
Yeah, look, I said to you lads off air, I'm going to go 3 albums for this video. So I'm going to go and kind of split it into 3 categories for myself as opposed to just spitting out 5 albums. So I've gone AOR, I've gone one from a classic rock band that are releasing new music, and I've gone metal. So I'll kick off with the AOR record that I've picked, and that's this one here. We've mentioned a couple of videos before, Lee, Nitrate Renegade. So Nick Hogg's project. You've got an array of talent here, kind of from the Frontiers Records. You've got Alexander Strandl on lead vocals. You got the I think you've done a review on they've released an album as well this year. Tom and James Martin, the Vega lads. They're on this album as well. I think did they have a new album this year?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
So yeah, they're on this record as well. Just a terrific AOR record, full of keyboards and guitars. You guys know me, just as I liked a few AOR gems on this, like songs like You've Got It and Addicted, heartbreaking ballads like Why Can't You Feel My Love, and then a few clever songs that are kind of riffing on old school AOR. You've got the lead single off this, Big City Lights, and I always remember seeing your reaction video. First time I heard this song was your reaction video to this. And as soon as he riffed off them lyrics, them Steve Perry "Don't Stop Believing" lyrics, she sits in a hotel room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. I saw your face go, and when you did it, I simultaneously watching my phone did it as well. I went, it's good. It's quite cool, but it's not like it's not taking the piss. It's not shoehorned in. It was just a clever little take on it. I love that. The song's telling its own story. And then you've got another kind of just a unapologetic gangbuster of a tune called Danger Zone, which is kind of a riff on the Kenny Loggins riff on the song by Kenny Loggins of the same name from Top Gun, but it's actually better than that song. So Nitrate Renegade, man. That's my AOR pick for my first one.
It's cool, like you said, some songs are like an ode or like a tribute, but part of it, if you like, to certain songs. But even I'll tell you what I love about that album. the guitar. I've never heard a guitar sound quite like Def Leppard Phil Collins sound on some of that.
Great call. Yeah.
Excellent guitar sound on that album, absolutely brilliant, and firmly stuck in, like, you know, Nick Hogg would probably say himself, firmly like went for that late 80s sound for sure.
Well, when you say Def Leppard, you're right, he probably admit that himself. I think it was even on the press release, like that's what they were chasing. They were going for that Phil Collins kind of, you know, guitar sound. Yeah,
very cool.
Love it.
And if you read the reviews of that album, a lot of people have followed Nitrate, and they've always had like a different singer each time, I think.
Yes.
But everyone said that that's the best, not because of the singing, but mainly because of the songs on the album. Is the best. It's the best songwriting album he's done. So
I'll ask you one thing though, make it very quick. Where are you on Strangle? Because I know you didn't like him on previous projects.
Put me on the spot.
Where are you on?
I don't know.
But like, are you on board now with it? Like, because you love this album like I did.
Yeah,
I didn't like him on maybe other.
I think this is his best album he's been on, because I've heard him on other albums, and you could compare him to other European singers like Eric Gromwell from Heat or Eric Martinson from Eclipse, and I never put him on that level. You know, he's like, and people have had a go at me for saying that before as well, by the way, just for to let you know, defensive Alexander Strandell fans, but I just never did. But I think his best performance is on this, and perhaps it suits him doing this real AOR stuff rather than anything a bit heavier. You know, I
agree with you. What was that other project? Crown? Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
it was called Crown. Yeah, he's much better on this. I agree with you. I'm fully so. If the haters can come for me as well, I think he's much better.
They will. They'll come, mate. Don't worry about that. They'll come. Okay, thank you very much, Darren. Great choice, by the way. Okay, so I won't go into detail too much because I've already bored everyone to tears with my top albums. So these are the 5 that I just want to talk about briefly. See, first one is the Spanish band Hitten with Triumph and Tragedy. They brought out at the end of November, actually, quite a new one. And these are a lot of glam rock metal band, but they're just absolutely fantastic. They do mix it up on an album. They have like a ballad which sounds very 80s, almost cowboyish, that sort of 80s cowboyish sort of thing you used to get in the 80s. And then they really rock it up with some heavy stuff. They got like an 11-minute track, the title track on the end of the album, which is just full of guitars and guitar heroics and soaring vocals. Just a brilliant album. And the bass player's called Satan. I mean, come on. Fucking hell. I mean, what more would you want? So they're just really, if you love your 80s stuff, and we always mention 80s, I know, but they're just a fantastic band. They remind me a little bit. Has anyone heard of the band Striker? Anyone heard of them? They're like a metal band. No. Striker. They're like a metal glam sort of band, but a bit heavier than Hitten. But they remind me a little bit of them. But from Spain as well. That's cool, isn't it? So there you go. Spanish band. The only one that was on the list.
How does that bass player book into a hotel with his missus?
Yeah, I know. And what I love about this band, they're one of my favourite bands because their names are all quite easy to pronounce as well. Because they've obviously changed their names. You know, Alex Panzer on the vocals. I mean, that's easy to say, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. So Hitten is my first one of 5, guys. That's my first recommendation. Cool. Brilliant album. Okay, back to Dom. What you got for your second one, mate?
All right. So to take it completely the opposite direction, another one of my favorite bands that I haven't really spoken about on All Killer yet, just because I know they're always there. So when I need a 12 or an 11 or something, I know that I can always count on the Bronx. The Bronx, one of my favorite bands, LA band. I've seen them at least 10 times. Love them. This is their 6th album. All of their albums are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is Bronx 6, obviously. I can't say they've ever made a bad album, but this one just made me smile all the way through. And it's continued to grow on me as well. They're very much kind of on the punk side of things, but they can be quite melodic in their punk as well. I mean, he's not a screamer. He mostly sings clean, but he does have kind of screams here and there, but they're not like, you know, death metal screams. They're just like kind of like a punk rock scream. Anyway, the Bronx, I love them. I'm going to see them hopefully next month if nothing happens. They're actually playing with another band that is coming up on my top 5 here, so it'll be quite a double bill if they pull it off. So yeah, the Bronx Six. If you've never heard the Bronx, man, check them out. Absolutely energy, fantastic songwriting. So there you go.
Cool, mate. This is what I mean. This is why it's good to have you guys on here. We've got a little bit of punk-ish music as well. So very cool indeed. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Right, Jam, what's your second one, mate, you want to recommend?
Okay, well, that's a coincidence as well. I've got 2 bands on my list that supported each other as well. I've seen mine earlier in the year, so I'll come on to that later. This is one that Lee's got in his top list, and I think I sent him the link to the song in the first place. But that's Florence Black, who are a Welsh band. Wow, I don't know what to say. It's their debut album, released September the 17th. I mean, the first song I heard, Sun and Moon, it's probably my favourite song of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. I've never, it's absolutely brilliant. And, I haven't heard a song like that for a long time. It's sort of starts like mellow. It always sounds like Pink Floydish on some of the little licks they do just in between. And then it goes into the chorus. It's so heavy. And their album is, I wasn't sure what the album was going to be like compared to this song. But it's really heavy, heavy. I wouldn't say they're a rock band. They're definitely a metal band. I mean, he's almost sort of screaming at one point, at some points in some of the songs, not too much for Lee, but it's definitely a heavy band. But I mean, there's some great songs in here. The first song's quite good, Zulu. Can You Feel It's really good. Black Cat, the one that Lee likes as well, that's a good song. And obviously Sun and Moon is brilliant. But they're well good. I think the guitarist was actually voted the best Welsh guitarist. Now, I don't know how much good competition he had, but he's being voted the best Welsh guitarist of the year or something. So there you go. But no, I saw them live supporting another band who I'll talk about in a bit, and they were absolutely brilliant live. And I actually bumped into them on the way out as well and had a photo taken with them. So that was quite cool. So I recommend listening to that. If you haven't heard Way to the World by Florence Black, have a listen.
No, that is a fucking great album, man. I love that album. And you're totally right. I'm really glad you recommended it. And you're right about, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And there's one song on it that is a bit screamy. You're right. But the rest of it is really fucking heavy and like just proper metal songs and fucking and they're getting a bit of a name as well, which is good. The debut album everyone's talking about, which is that's brilliant. There you go.
I need to get the EPs. Unfortunately, they seem to discontinue them and you can't buy them anywhere. But I even spoke to them about it. Said, "Why can't I buy your EPs?" I said, "We're going to sort it out." So hopefully they'll sort it out. But there you go.
Okay. Right. Okay. Because Darren, you've got 3 albums. I'm going to sadly miss you out this time, even though I want to hear your sultry tones again. Sorry about that. So
go for it, mate. Go for it.
The next one, I've been going on about this band a little bit, and it's good. I mean, I've spoken about a band from Spain. Now we're going to go Australia now. So who am I talking about?
Wicked Smile.
Yes. I must have been talking about them a fucking lot. So they bought an album called Wait for the Night, another debut album at the end of October. And this is a hard rock but mainly metal band, I would say, as well. So just a really solid tunes. They do a lot of chuggy stuff, really like heavy sort of riffs. They sort of mix it up as well. They do some really catchy stuff, but they can go from heavy to really catchy at the same time. No shouting, obviously. And the singer Danny Sakati is he's more like a sort of a power metal sort of vocalist, look, that sort of almost operatic style, like Dickinson and Dio and all those sort of singers, but it just fits in with this hard rock sort of really fucking well. I mean, this is another album that's getting a lot of good reviews and well deserved as well. They're hitting a lot of people's. I've noticed at the end of the year lists, when you look on these sites, the Melodic Mafia sites and all the Facebook ones, you see them appearing in people's top 10s, that's fucking cool. From Australia as well. You don't hear a lot of metal bands coming from Australia, so that's good and all getting that name. So Wicked Smile, Wait for the Night, superb album, brilliant album cover as well. I might do an end of the year album cover show. I don't know.
Yeah.
But calm down, Lee. Jeez.
I know, I'm getting all excited about it. But, they do like brilliant. If you check out their artwork, it's usually like a woman's face or something, like a really pretty woman's face, and they have a different one on every song they bring out, like a single, and they're really cool artwork as well. So Wicked Smile, Wait for the Night. check it out.
Lee, it's kind of cool because you say not many from Australia, but I did a video on Australian rock, saying how great Australian bands do rock. Everything from stuff you wouldn't listen to, obviously, from everything from soft rock like Savage Garden up to AC/DC or modern bands like Airborne and them kind of bands, so and everything in between. Then like I don't know, like the Bee Gees and Icehouse and all sorts. So it's like they really have a great tradition down under for rock music end to end.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're
Crowded
right.
House, In Excess, Split Enz.
In Excess, Split Enz, I had all them on the video. Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose I'm talking about the style. It's more like Maiden, that sort of sound, or maybe a little bit softer.
Right.
But don't
not
hear
too
many
many successful like metal bands from Australia.
Exactly.
You're right.
They're very rock and roll, aren't they, Australia? A lot of their metal bands are sort of more rock and roll. Sort of thing. Now, very cool though. Wicked Smile, Wait for the Night. Check it out. Okay, back down to Dom. What you got, mate?
Okay, another one of my favorite contemporary bands released an album this year. This is the band I'm going to be seeing the Bronx with. Hopefully, this is Every Time I Die. I've spoken about them on All Killer. Love these guys. This is their 9th album, believe it or not. 9th album. Took 3 or 4 years for this one to come out, so people were waiting a long time. I mentioned when I talked about them, the singer was with the Damned Things, which is with Scott Ian, and rhythm section from Fall Out Boy. They've had 2 records out, and he did that in their 2nd album in the middle of this. But this is another band that some records are better than others, but I can't say any of them are poor. They've always just been consistent for the last 10 or 15 years. This one is no different. It's called Radical. I guess they are quote unquote metalcore, but I don't know. I mean, they're not. They've got some southern riffs as well. I mean, they've got all sorts of amalgamation. It is heavy, and it can get really heavy in spots, but it's always catchy, if you know what I mean. Like the riffs are always catchy, the breakdowns are catchy. I think that's their number one goal is they can get heavy, you can kind of scream a bit, not like death metal screams, but like a scream. But even that's catchy the way they do it. So I don't know. Every Time I Die, Radical's the name of the record, and I just love them. So hopefully I'll be seeing them next month with the Bronx.
Very cool, very cool. I just think, I don't know why, the genres, when you mention genres, it just makes me smile, because I see some of the genres that people talk about. When you hear some of they add bits to them now. Have you noticed it's not just death metal anymore? Or it's not black metal.
I know.
You hear like
melodic,
death, avant-garde, black
Yeah.
metal, and you're like, what? Who the fuck think?
Funeral Doom or something? I don't know. It's all nonsense.
Math. Have you heard mathcore? Like
mathcore, yeah.
Mathcore, yeah. That's like animals as leaders and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Fucking
Dillinger Escape Plan, aren't they? Mathcore.
Probably.
Yeah. There's another one. Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
Great though, man. Great. Another great difference of choice. So excellent there. Right, Jan, back to you, mate.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Pumpkins United, a bit of power metal, and that's Halloween with their self-titled album, albeit their 16th album, but of course this is the reunited, multi-singing, multi-band. How many people are in the band? 8 now, I think.
26.
I think so. Obviously, we got Kai Hansen back, and we got Michael Kiske back, and obviously Andy Daris hasn't gone anywhere, and the rest of the bands, I think there's about 7 of them, or 6 or 7 of them. But it's a classic Pumpkins United, classic Halloween lineup with obviously extras. But this is a long-awaited album they did. They reformed probably about 5 years ago now. I actually saw them when they first reunited before they'd actually done any new songs, and that was absolutely brilliant, just playing all the classics, doing back-to-back Halloween and keeping 7 keys for the 30 minutes of the set was absolutely brilliant. But now they've obviously done an album to follow it up. We're all looking forward to this. There's some great songs on it. I mean, I think it's difficult to live up to. I think it has in a lot of ways. I think it tailed off a little bit for some people. Everyone was hyped up and really loved it to start with, and perhaps they dropped off a bit from liking it so much. But there's some great stuff on here. Fear the Fallen, Best Time is a great song, another contender for some of the best songs for the year for me. And they actually got the bonus track, which was a song called Pumpkins United, which was released well before the album was done, but they've stuck it on the end of this album. It was only released as a single. And it's just a bit of fun, bit of Halloween. It's got everything you want from Halloween: power metal, pop, heavy. And it's fun, and a great album cover as well. That should be a contender for album cover of the year.
It's a great album cover.
There you go.
Brilliant, mate. Excellent. Good to get Halloween in there. Cheers for that, mate. Right, Darren, what's your one, mate?
So my middle of the road one this time. So I've gone with a classic rock band that delivered a new album this year. Now it's Styx, and it's Crash at the Crown, which was released in June of this year over the summer. Now I wasn't really a Styx fan at all much until I done a Damn Yankees video, which Mark Clower asked me to do, and through that video I met Delina, who's one of the Iridiots, and now I'm a Styx fan, because from reviewing Crash at the Crown, I went and done a whole album about inducting Styx into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and stuff. I'm converted, lads. Styx is the divided fan base. Dennis DeYoung isn't there anymore. So, you know, there's the loyalists of Dennis who want nothing to do with the new band, who probably wouldn't be listening to this record. But this is Tommy Shaw, Lawrence Gown. They're still touring with the band, still making music. And I think I just listened to Crash at the Crown, listened to it, you know, since I've reviewed it a good few times. Just a great record. Has something for everyone. We live in a political world these days. It's a political album, but not one that doesn't preach at you, or it's making some points, but it's not preaching at you or telling you how to think the way, you know, the world is these days. It's commented on things, but, you know, not beating you over the head with it. The opening track, Fight of Our Lives, just a great song to open up a record. The ballad Sound the Alarm has me tears every single time. Absolutely love it. And another favourite for me is a song called Our Wonderful Lives, which has an upbeat chorus, but like it's talking about looking after your mental health while it's going with this sonic of upbeat. I just love that. I love the friction of that. And Tommy Shaw, man, still got a great voice. Big fan. Looks well, sings well, and they never stop touring. So yeah, Crash at the Crown by Styx.
How old is he? Because he's got fucking more hair than all of us put together, and all. Hey.
He is, yeah. He's a good-looking man. I think is he 60s, mid-60s? Yeah. Maybe you might know that. Mid-60s, I suppose.
And we give a shout out.
Yeah.
We give a good shout out to Delana as well, because she has got to be the biggest Styx fan ever. Like she has.
Her dedication to traveling to them gigs is just insane.
She's just always on the road, just traveling, driving to see Styx wherever the fuck they play. So. Big shout out.
Yeah, and I know Jam says Jam goes to a lot of gigs, and Don goes to a lot of gigs, and you know, whereas that's traveling across the UK. She's traveling from you know, the south up to wherever, Vegas and all. It's just mad. You know, it is mad. 24-hour drives and stuff, incredible. But Crash of the Crown, a big fan of the album, really good, really cool.
Yeah, I would second that. You know, I was really surprised when I heard it, because they really made a conscious effort, and they accomplished sounding like old Styx, like Grand Illusion, Equinox. I think people will be really surprised, because obviously from Kilroy was here onwards, it's been mostly concentrated on ballads and things like that. But these songs, man, this is like 1978 all over again. They really went and accomplished what they tried to do. And we can't mention Styx without JT Young, who's been in the band from the very beginning. So
great.
I actually I agree with you. This was a good accomplishment for Styx. And again, if you look at any sort of reviews of the year, this is really high on everybody's list. And that's actually what made me listen to it, because I hadn't really kept up with kind of the last few, just because I thought, you know, so many of the band have gone. You know, they're probably a different animal, but I put this on. I was like, whoa, they really did it. So, yeah, definitely. Well done.
Right. Very cool to get a lot of classic rock band in there as well. Cheers, mate, for that. Okay, my third choice is going to be going to Sweden. Fucking hell. Well, I mean, they're just everywhere, aren't they? You know what I mean? You can't get away from that. But the band called Seventh Crystal and Delirium is the album. This was out on Frontiers in May. Now, I've really chosen this one because I mentioned it in my top albums. Yeah, I did, but I've never known an album to grow on me as much as this one has through the year. And I liked it at first. You know, I thought it was really good. I give it a good review. I thought, yeah. But the best albums, don't they? They grow on you over time. And honestly, when one of these songs come up on a shuffle in my car or whatever for the year's music, I just smile when a song comes on. They are absolutely superb, and they're really clever in their songwriting, and I think that's why it's such a grower. The melodies get you after a while, and then once they get you, you're hooked. And a lot of it is a lot of ballads on this album, and a lot of them are piano led, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But it's almost got a modern, dare I say it, pop sort of feel structures to the songs, but then they always end up with guitar as well in them, you know, coming towards the end of the song. They don't follow the structure of songs and build up after a minute. You might get a guitar in the last minute in a 4-minute song or something like that, and it's piano till then, but really catchy stuff. I really recommend this. Christian Fair is the vocalist, and he's just got such an emotional voice, and it's just an amazing album. That I said, it's just, I've listed a load of songs I was going to talk about, but they're all great, honestly. And I think Darren would definitely love this for sure. I think Dominic, probably you would like this as well. Not super sure on Jam. Might not be too much piano for Jam, I think, but it's an amazing album. That's just a real grower. And even if you do listen to it and you listen to it for the first time and you think, yeah, it's good, honestly, keep it going. It'll just get you. And once it's got you, that's it. So the Seventh Crystal, Delirium. There you go. Okay. We're going to Dom. What you got then, mate, for your fourth choice?
Oh, yeah. Back to me already. Okay. For me, if you had told me earlier in this year that this would have been one of my top 5, I probably would have said no. There's a band called Inglorious. I liked their first album, thought their second album was fucking brilliant, and Glorious 2 is fantastic. Their third album, called Ride to Nowhere, was a huge drop in quality for me, basically. I only ended up liking maybe 2 or 3 songs on it. I couldn't believe that it was the same band that made Inglorious 2, but so I was like, I wasn't that excited about it. Plus, he kind of had a hard time, the singer. Basically, his whole band left him after they recorded that third album that wasn't as good. And I think it's the best thing that ever happened to him, because this is probably the best album he's done. Inglorious. It's called, what is it called? We Will Ride. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's just a great melodic hard rock album, and singing his ass off. He's got a great voice. So I'm really glad that things are working out for him, because he really had a shitty time with his band. There's 2 sides to every story. You know, there's got to be some tension if your entire backing band leaves you. So something happened. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the best thing that happens to him, because this is a really big return to form. So it's got a very kind of powerful Coverdale kind of voice, that kind of bluesy 70s kind of hard rock voice. And the songs are really top notch on this. So yeah, Inglorious. Check it out. Well,
man, I'll back you up on that. This is this is my favorite album from them. I'll tell you what as well, it's a huge sounding album, Dom. You turn this up and it sounds fucking brilliant. And you say about the problems he went through with the band. I mean, my favorite song on that album is Eye of the Storm, where he actually talks about, do you know what I mean? He's not the person people think they are. And like you said, 2 sides of the story, you know, but he's really heartfelt, that vocal in that as well. And, you know, don't believe everything you read and all that. The lyrics in that song are fucking amazing, but it is an amazing song. I'm more into those sort of ones where they do something a bit different on the album rather than the full-blown sort of rock songs. You know, it's just some of them are very basic rock songs, aren't they? Where he sings his ass off. But when they do something different and do some mellow bits and they're just fantastic. That album is huge. Nathan James, isn't it? I think his name, the guy.
Nathan James is the name. Yeah. I mean, he's got some background. I think it was on a reality show at some point. And he's toured with Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, that kind of that tour thing. He's done that a few times as well. So he's got a really powerful voice. And I know what you mean about the other songs that aren't just like full-blown rock songs, because they'll start one way, and then about 3 minutes into it, they'll just be like, whoa, what the
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Yeah.
And it really just kicks in, you know. So yeah, Inglorious, check them out.
Good choice, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, Jam, what you got, mate?
Okay, I'm going with a Norwegian band called Bokassa. These gained a little bit of fame, I guess, because Lars Ulrich came out and said they were like the best. Their album they did was the best he'd heard for a long time. He said this band's fantastic, and Metallica gave him a slot on their tour. I don't know if they played over here supporting. It might have been over in America, but anyway. I checked them out a while ago. I think it was on their second album. This is their third album, and I absolutely loved them. They're so hard to describe what they are. I mean, if you go on Wikipedia, it says they're stoner rock and hardcore punk. Now, how can you be so different in styles? You know, one's slow, one's fast. So, but you know, weirdly, they're sort of right. They've certainly got sort of a punky edge to them. But they've got massive Metallica-esque type riffs, a bit like Volbeat, you know, that sort of thing. They've got the riff, and they do play some songs quite fast. But the singing is completely clean. It's no shouting, none of that. The songs are so catchy. There's lots of whoa-oh choruses and sing-along bits. And then some of the songs are slower. They are slower, and I suppose you could call them a bit space rock or something. They've got these 7-minute closing songs usually. I don't think the last two albums got a lot of slow songs at the end, but they're still in the same style, if you like. I mean, this is the band who, Florence Black supported, and I saw him at the Underworld in London, and they're just worth checking out. I'm not sure Lee would like them, but you two might actually, because obviously you like lots of things as well. But I'm not sure Lee would like them that much, but you never know. But they're certainly worth checking out. It's because I can't describe them. They're definitely worth listening to. But there's some great songs in there anyway. So Long Idiots. They've got a bit of humour to them as well. So Long Idiots, Burn It All, PTSD Dead. And Immortal Space Pirates is the last track of the album, which is the 7-minute epic song. So yeah, check them out.
I'm just too much of a fussy fucker. That's the problem.
Sorry, go on, Jack. Go on.
Sorry, I forgot to say the album's called Molotov Rocktail, the third album. That's what it's called.
Cool. What was you going to say, Dan?
Nice. I was just going to say, I think it's happened now a couple of times. There's always 3 square pegs and 1 round hole, right? So, no matter what way you split this, 3 of us might agree, but 1 won't.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Each time, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to miss out Darren again. We're going to catch up with Darren on the last round, but I'm going to go to we're up to our like 4th choice or something. So, obviously, these are all ones that are in my top albums. This band, you might have heard some of this stuff, Jan, but Blacktop Mojo, another band with black in their title. I mean, how many are there now? But I think you mentioned that, and all Dom. Another black. We've got Blackberry Smoke,
Blackberry Smoke, Blackstone Cherry.
I know. But this is Blacktop Mojo. Their self-titled album, although it's their 4th album, so they're one of them ones that have, I don't know, perhaps it's their best album. They felt it was like they'd sort of become the band they are. Maybe. Out in August, I did love this when it came out, but some of the songs they are fucking outstanding. And this band, if you look on Wiki, talk about Wiki Jam, it actually says part of them is grunge. So there's probably one song that sounds a bit grungy, but they're definitely not. They're more of a rock band than metal, a little bit of southern rock, I would say, as well, from Texas. The singer's amazing, Matt James. He's just got such a soulful voice. I did mention the song. I will only mention one song that was in my top songs. I think it came like really near the top. Is Tail Lights. It's just an outstanding song, and I think everyone here, if they listen to that song, will fucking love it. They will absolutely love it. It's really heartfelt. He does an amazing bit of singing in the second verse that's just to the heavens. It's just absolutely amazing. It's a pretty sad song, actually, and it's one of them I'm not a repeater of songs. I can't listen to it and then keep going back, but this is one of them this year. It's been one of them where I've gone, fucking hell, that's great, and then played it again. So really emotional song, Tail Lights, but the whole album is fucking fantastic. Check it out, Blacktop Mojo, self-titled album. There you go. Okay. Round 5. What you got then, Dom?
It's me again. Oh my gosh. Okay, last one. This is somebody that I talk about a lot, but this is a strong album, and whenever he comes out with a new album and he's still alive, I'm quite happy. This is Udio, starring Udo Dirkschneider. This is their 17th album.
Fuck yeah.
This is called Game Over. A really strong album. You know, he's been on a roll, even though there's been 17 albums. He's gone through a ton of lineup changes. But the last 4 albums, he's had a pretty steady band now. So they've really gelled. And you can tell it sounds like a proper band. Like this sounded like the last album and the last album before. Like it does sound like a proper band and not just him fronting some metal guys. So he's on a roll. I don't know, Game Over. I don't know if that means it's the end. They've never announced anything even close to being the last album or 2 or whatever. So I think he'll just go until he dies. but God bless him. You know, I think he's nearly 70 now. Yeah. And he's just his voice has stayed strong since balls to the wall. Who knew? With that kind of voice, you'd think he would have lost it 20 years ago, but he hasn't. He just keeps going and going like a little German Energizer bunny. So, God bless Udo. Udo, Game Over. If you need to catch up with Udo and you like to accept way back in the day and you haven't heard any of his stuff that he's been doing throughout all these years, this is a great one to start. And certainly, he could use your support. So there you go.
He's actually probably about as big as an Energizer bunny. Isn't he?
Yeah, he's tiny, a small chap.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say midget because that's not such a word. He's a small person. Small person. That's what he is.
No, well, I don't think he qualifies as a small person. He's just a short stack of pancakes.
I mean, his voice. He's very. You love it or hate it, don't you? I actually love his voice, but you're totally right. He hasn't changed at all. His voice.
I mean, you would have thought that he would have lost that. I mean, all of our favorite singers, from Brian Johnson, all those guys that have that rasp, at one point or another, they've lost the power, or you can tell they're stretching or whatever. I swear to God, this guy he sounds exactly the same. And, it's fantastic. So,
and also he's a little bit pervy and all.
He's a little bit pervy, and we love a bit of pervy, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Is this from personal experience, Lee?
No. He's sort of got. I don't know.
Talking about a video.
Yeah, there's a video that Prophecy in it. He's single this year. It's a bit close to the mark, but I mean, his voice as well alongside it. It just sounds a bit pervy, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's great though.
I like it.
He's brilliant. Yeah. Right, thanks for that, mate. Right, Jam, what you got, mate?
Okay, yeah. Just say thank you for Dom for letting me have this one, but it's the Wild Hearts.
Yeah.
And 21st Century Love Songs. A picture of the band in there.
Nice.
It's a good album cover, actually, but Lee's not going to pick it because he doesn't like him. But anyway, this is their 10th album, and really, really, really strong album. They had they've actually released a couple quite close together now, and the last one was quite accessible, sort of quite poppy. This one's got more back, some of their more proggy songs and some of their heavier, a lot heavier, I think, this album. It's a weird one. I didn't actually like it that much. When I heard it, I didn't like the songs they released first off. I only heard them a couple of times. I thought, not sure about these. And then I got the album. I was going to get it anyway. I got the album, and I wasn't too sure on the first couple of listens, but it's a total grower on it. It's one of them albums where you think, and the second listen you go, actually, no, I quite like that. And then the third, fourth time you get into it. And it's just fantastic. There's a few songs that I'm still unsure about. It's a bit weird. I saw them live early in the year, and they only played one song off the album, which I thought was a bit strange, being that it was the tour for the album, and that was Splitter, which I don't think is one of the best songs on there. But there is some fantastic songs on there. Remember These Days, really strong, and Sleep Away, another contender for Song of the Year. And there's a brilliant video to it. If you want to check out any song for the Wild Hearts album, check out Sleep Away, and the video is crazy. It doesn't seem to fit with the song, but it's absolutely mental, a bit gory. And Sort Your Fucking Shit Out is a great song as well, sing along. But it's just a fantastic fantastic Wild Arts album, and I'm actually going to go and see him tomorrow, 15th of December, on the last night of their tour for the year, and hopefully they'll play Sleepaway, because I say they're only seem to be playing Splitter for some reason, but there you go. We'll see.
Yeah, they need to be adding a lot more songs from this album on that tour. That's for damn sure. They're doing more off of Renaissance album before this than they are the new album. I don't know why.
No, I don't. Strange, but brilliant. Anyway,
yeah, I'll throw my 2 cents in, because it was between me and Jam, kind of a flip of the coin who got the Wild Arts, because we both love them. The last album, Renaissance Men, was very popular. It was number 1 on a lot of year-end things. For me personally, I liked it, but it was, as Jam said, it was a bit simple for them. It was kind of Wild Hearts by numbers, kind of. This gets back to like the PHUQ days, like really long, involved songs, riffs just coming from nowhere, choruses in the middle of a chorus, and just everything I love about the Wild Hearts. This is this album. So it's not quite as accessible as some of their other stuff, but all the more reason why I love it. The first time I listened to it, I almost burst out in tears after it was over, because I was like, God, they still got it. I'm so happy. So yeah, there you go. Talk about Wild Hearts a lot, but
Cool. Right, before we go, cheers for that, Jan, by the way, and Dom. Before we go to Darren, I'm going to do my last one then, because I think we all want to talk a little bit. Well, maybe 3 of us want to talk about Darren's last choice, because I know what his last choice is. So I'll do my one first. So this, I obviously can't talk English very well, because this is the band that got asked what I actually fucking said when I announced the band's name. And
Dyro.
It's Thy Row. If anyone doesn't understand, it's THY, Thy Row, ROW. Okay, so
it's like Skid Row, but with thy.
With thy instead. So yeah, I tell you what, with this album, and it was my 4th best album of the year, and it is easily going to be there all year. It doesn't seem to be getting a lot of traction, this album, and I don't understand why it's not. And I don't know if it's the way it's being, publicized or put out there. I don't know what it is, but I think everyone would love this who likes metal music. It's just fantastic. You've got a singer who sounds like fucking Dio, at his best, or some of the singers like Dino Jelusic is as good as some of those guys. Let alone that, you've got some really like fantastic songs that are just melodic but really heavy at the same time. You've got a ballad on here. You've got 3 songs on the end that is called Fragments. Oh, sorry, the Downfall Parts 1, 2, and 3, that sort of tell a story about Alzheimer's. I think the singer or someone in the band's relation had Alzheimer's, and it's a brilliant story. But all 3 are like separate tracks and are really catchy on their own. It's not like one song. They're just 3 brilliant tracks. I don't get it, because I don't get why there's not enough love for this album. I think if it was brought out by a well-known act, I think everyone would be just, falling over themselves with this release. It is just perfect. It's their self-titled album, for a debut album as well. September the 24th was brought out. Like I said, from Finland. Got a slight modern touch to them and all, but just catchy as fuck. Check them out. They're an absolutely brilliant band. And the only people that came in front of them on my list was Todd Latora, Wet, and Eclipse, which are 3 of my favourite artists. So there you go. Excellent band. Cool. Anyway,
it's just name the game. It's just name the game, Lee. You talk about traction. I mean, I'm sure the lads would say the same for some of their picks, but Crash of the Crown was never going to get played on the radio. It's just, it is what it is. You might mean traction in terms of its sales or its streams. I'm talking Crash of the Crown in terms of its radio spins. Just, this is the modern world. It's not MTV anymore. It's not radio anymore. It's look at it, draw with streams and downloads and that kind of stuff.
The thing is, it's sort of, I'll put this in a similar vein as, the Wicked Smile album, debut albums, relatively unknown sort of artists. The Wicked Smile album, you see it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And the both the albums are just as good as each other. They're both brilliant. And I can't see, obviously it's people's taste, I know that, but I know this is real quality stuff. And I can't understand how that hasn't got what Wicked Smile has. And perhaps it is a bit of the way the record company maybe puts it out there. I don't know what it is. But anyway, enough moaning from me. We're going to go for Darren for the last one. Go on, Darren. What you got, mate, for your last choice?
Two or three of you have brought up the definition of what rock actually is, or what hard rock is, what metal is, or whatever it is. You've talked about Wikipedia definitions and that kind of stuff. Tell me, what is Iron Maiden? Are they just heavy metal? You know, are they hard rock? Very hard. Like, you tell me before I make the mistake in one of my videos. I would have said hard rock, heavy metal. You tell me on what not to say.
Metal. They're metal.
Metal.
But listen.
Only. Right.
The thing is, Darren, I mean, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. If you're talking like Maiden up to Somewhere in Time, you would definitely say metal. You could even say now, you could even call them a bit folky now.
Right. Okay. This album that was released in September, tell me if I've got this wrong as well. Senjutsu. Am I saying this right?
That's right, mate. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Look, this ain't out and out metal. I don't care who comes for me. This record is not pure metal. It's not. I don't care if people are going to say it ain't, right? Right. So they can say what they want. Words are just words. I don't care. But it is in my top three. So I've gone AOR, I've gone classic rock, and for my let's say metal choice, then, you know, to stay on the right side of the law, is this album by Iron Maiden. I loved the video that, obviously I'm a big fan of the All Killer No Filler series, but I loved the video that you and Jam did reviewing this track by track. I think you got a good, nice, there was a ton of reviews out on it. You know, it's a crowded market, as we both know, Lee, but I think few people in your comment section said it was the best video they saw of a review on this album. So it was through that video that you and Jam done. I went, I'm going to give this a spin and give it a listen. I think just like the Ramones, I think Iron Maiden, the name has been cheapened by 15-year-olds wearing T-shirts. And I think it's kind of diluted a little bit for the younger crowd. I hate that. I hate seeing them T-shirts you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend, go all highbrow and pretend to know everything in Maiden's background, but I can tell you a number of their songs, a number of their albums, and who Eddie is. So I think that should be, you know, the benchmark for at least knowing a little bit of it. But even if you came to this for the first time, I think Bruce Dickinson sounds great on this record. I don't love the name of it, but my understanding is it's a Japanese word for tactics, and let me just check my note here.
Warfare, isn't it?
Yeah,
tactics and strategy.
Strategy.
Tactics and strategy. Yeah. I don't love the name, but I kind of get where they were going with it. A few call-out tracks for me. I know you guys will have probably a bit more of a professional view on metal than I would, but I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed this album. For me, track 3 and the lead single, The Writing on the Wall. Track 5, Days of Future Past. Great title and some really cool vocals on that. And I really liked the 10-minute epic, Death of the Celts, which almost has, tell me if I'm wrong, but almost has kind of a Lizzie kind of feeling in some of the guitars in there. Maybe it is that Celtic sound a little bit. Maybe there. I don't know if you said that in the video. I can't remember. It was months ago, but it has almost kind of a Lizzie vibe in there with that Celtic kind of theme. It's 10 minutes long. You know, I'm not overly lover of songs that go on that long, but you know, after my Queensryche experience, I'm kind of on board. So great album. Really, really good album.
I mean, Jam will talk about it. Well, Jam actually had the same album and sort of like.
Yeah, sorry for stepping on your toes there, Jam. You're apologising to Dom, and I'm apologising to you. We're stepping on each other's toes a little bit.
But my opinions on it was I really do like the album, and someone questioned why it weren't in my top albums or whatever, because there was better albums as I was concerned. But I do like it. I think it's a good album, and it's just as good as anything they brought out. I don't know. I think for me, they're very interchangeable, their albums now. The last few have been, you know, it's like I'm listening to a lot of what I've heard before, I would say. But although I think they try to tighten things up on this album a lot, you know, by not repeating choruses and not repeating guitar lines over and over and over again. I mean, they've taken a bit of stick for the 3 10-minute plus songs that are on the end of the album.
I liked it. I really liked it. You didn't like it then? No.
I like all 3 songs. The worst song is the one that repeats the most, I think, and every Maiden fan seems to think it's the best song.
Is that the Parchment?
The Parchment, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it much.
No, it's like the most repetitive one, and I don't know what it is about Maiden fans. It's like they want to say the best one is the one that really ain't, just to make a point, or say, I don't know, fucking, you know what I mean? But I'll just say it how it is. But I think it's a really good album. It's strong. You know, I just think there's been better albums. That's all. And I think that you do have a benchmark for Maiden. You know, for years and years, from 1982 probably for me till I don't know. That ain't years and years, but you know, till the late 80s. So through the 80s, that was probably my favourite band. And then because you set a benchmark, didn't you? I think, like, you know, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and Power Slave were just the ultimate fucking albums. They were just, especially Power Slave for me and Peace of Mind, were just blew me away for years and years. And you do set your own benchmark, didn't you? You think, will they ever do one like that again? Well, that's asking a bit too much, probably, but it's still a great album. That, you know, I can't deny that. Anyway, we won't let Dom talk about it. We're just going to let Jam talk about it. Because Dom probably hasn't heard it, actually. No. He probably didn't bother. No, I thought he wouldn't. He's a very
I've been burned. I've been burned too many times. I just couldn't get, you know, I'll hear it someday. But if everything that you just said, Lee, you know, all the albums are kind of melding into one, and they're all folky and proggy now and stuff, and it's just not the Maiden that I love. So yeah, there you go. That's all I have to say.
And I think this would die down. It's like with any album out of a big band. I think in the end, it would, even with the hardcore Maiden fans, it would die down in their list, and it won't be the best thing they've heard since Power Slave, which they're saying. In the end, yes, a lot of fans are saying it's the best thing since Power Slave. But I think in the end, it would die down. After a while, it would, like it does with every.
It'll find its place.
It'll settle, and it is one of the better newer albums for sure. But it ain't the best thing since Power Slave. Let's just admit that now. Anyway, Jan,
I enjoyed it. It's
a good album. It's a good album, but you've got to stop. For Maiden fans, you've got to stop comparing it to things like that. Just say, yeah, it's a good album for what it is, but it ain't no Power Slave. That's what you got to say, really.
You have to. You see, I get it. We all do it with bands we love. We all judge an album or judge, you know, even a lead singer on what's come before. Oh, yeah. I think you just got to take each album on its own merit, and you know, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you don't, you don't. You know, the other albums are still there.
They've got a fucking benchmark and a half, though, Maiden. They have. They really have. I mean, if this album was maybe brought out in the 80s, we might have looked at it as a fucking brilliant album. I don't know, but now it's like after years and years of. Anyway, let's forget about it. That's enough of that. Jam, what do you reckon, mate, on this album?
Yeah, no, we've talked enough about it. I'm pretty much as we did on our actual initial review. I don't think my songs I liked have changed since then. Actually, I think the album is a really good one, best one for a while. It is too long. 3 10-minute songs at the end, I think, is a little bit too much. But I mean, yeah, apart from the ones that Darren's mentioned, I like Stratego, Time Machine, and I think the ballad on it, which it shouldn't really say for Maiden, shouldn't really do ballads. The Darkest Hour is probably one of my favourite songs on the album, but it's not really a ballad, you know. It's a Maiden ballad, but I think it's a great song.
It's as ballad as this gets, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Good.
No, cool. Right. So we all love it. Dom actually can't bring himself to speak about it because he loves it so much he'll bring himself to tears.
Yes. I'm sure that once I finally listen to it, I'll go, it is better than Power Slave. I'm sure that'll happen.
Anyway, I know that Jan wants to get a few honourables. I'm not going to get any honourable mentions in because I fucking speak too much already in other shows. So Jan,
I'm surprised you have a voice left.
I'll tell you what, I hardly had one at the end of that 50 songs the other day. Okay, Jam, you got anything you want to mention, mate?
Yeah, just some quick ones. The new Volbeat album, it only came out last week or the week before, so I haven't really had a chance to get into it yet. But Servant of the Mind, but Shotgun Blues, as we know, is a great song, so that's definitely worth me checking out in the future. The Pretty Reckless, Death by Rock and Roll, has some great songs on it. You don't like female singers, but I don't mind them. The song 21.
Oh, yeah, Dom. You got to start liking female singers, Dom. Honestly.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. 2022, that's all I'm going to listen to. 2022.
Yeah, there's a song on it called 21 that should have been, it sounds like it's a Bond theme. It's absolutely brilliant. Worth checking out if you haven't heard it. Gajira for Fortitude, quite good. Another World's a great song. Dead Days did Holy Ground, which is a really good album. Some great songs on there, like no other. Bassline, Chosen and Justified. And my last one quickly is a band that I always look at the top list of everybody's lists in magazines and stuff, on the internet, whatever, the lists of metal albums for the year. This one was coming at the top all the time, and it's Spirit Box with Eternal Blue. So I thought I'd check them out. Obviously, it's the sort of music I'm not going to like, then I'm not going to listen to it. But this one came out all the time, so I thought I'd download it. I only got it the other day, and I've listened to it, and it is really good. Don't think it's got a lot of shouty vocals, but it's also got a female singer, so I don't think some of you guys will like it. But I can see why it's up there. It certainly is different to anything. It's got ambient sort of music on it, and it's really quite catchy, even though it's damn heavy in places, and then so mellow in others. But Spirit Box, Eternal Blue is definitely one I should be listening to in the next few weeks. So there you go.
Very cool. Cheers, mate. I think you might have done all their honourable mentions for us. I mean, you got any, Darren, you want to speak about? Hold on. Remember, this is a rock channel.
All right, calm down. What I was going to ask was, talk about female singers. No, look, I was just going to ask Dom or ask Jam about it and whatever else. Where I think Greta Van Fleet had an album out this year as well. Where are you on Greta?
Well, obviously they got they were well thought of. Everyone's obviously compared them to Led Zeppelin. I could sort of see that on their first album. I'm not sure the second one quite sounds the same. And I've heard there is a song, and someone said it was. I think they played on Planet Rock, and someone said it's the best song he's heard for ages. And they played it, and I did really get it. I wrote it down, but I've forgotten what it's called. It might have been the lead single off the album, and it was a bit different. And I mean, I like them. I think they're a band I could get into. I'm not a massive Led Zeppelin fan, for instance, but I mean, I think they're certainly talented, and I'm not sure why they're getting so much praise compared to other bands necessarily. I don't think they're that unique, but I do like them. Yeah. Definitely.
I've heard some good things about this album, by the way. I've heard that even the people that put them down because of the Zeppelin thing, I've heard this album is pretty fucking special.
The Battle of Gardens
different.
Gate, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I've heard it's good. So you like it then, Dom?
I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but I do commend them for taking a leap forward and not just repeating the success of the first one. He does still have that very kind of planty vocal, but as far as the songs and stuff, it's still 70s based, but I wouldn't say it's any sort of like Zeppelin copies or anything at all. They've really kind of taken a step forward, so they got to be commended for that.
Yeah, I wrote down the single one.
They ain't copying Kingdom Come now, are they?
No, they aren't. No.
Oh, okay. I was going to think, I've got a New Year's resolution, guys. Just as we're coming towards the end of the year, I'll tell you what mine is, and if you're going to have any, and this is also doing music, by the way, because I felt like this year I didn't give some bands. I know it sounds like I give a lot of bands a chance because I had 105 fucking albums on my list, but I don't think I spent enough time with albums when they came out. So I literally put them straight into my fucking Spotify list or whatever and shuffled it with the albums that have already been released. So I'm going to make sure if an album comes out or two albums come out that Friday, I listen to them all week until the next Friday. That's my New Year's resolution.
An album's a tough one to review. Like it really is, because you're trying to do it as quick as you can and get it out, and then your mind changes a week later, and it's very, very tricky. I've done a lot of them this year. Even
though there's 105 fucking albums that I possibly looked at, there's a load that dropped off that I didn't even consider, because after a while I was thinking I did like that, and now I fucking don't. So perhaps I should wait a while. But if you wait a while, then people don't really want to watch the review because it's been out and they've probably got it and they've probably made their own mind up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah. Tricky balance.
It is. It is. Right, guys, listen, it's been brilliant. Anyone want to say anything before we go?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yes,
we should have worn fucking Christmas jumpers. I've got a brilliant. I've got my Donald Trump one upstairs. Make Christmas great again jumper. So just to upset more people, you know. There you go.
Next year.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks guys for getting your recommendations out there. So, like I said, it's just interesting to hear your views on what you've been listening to. So that's really cool. All right, guys.
It's all rock and roll, man. Whether it's math, core, or whatever.
Death and roll.
It's all just rock and roll.
It is. It is. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. Loved it. See you next time.
Later.